What's good, y'all? It's Miles from Without Warning. Haven't been on camera in a minute. Haven't really been in the stew in a minute. But we got some recent news that Kanye might be dropping his deluxe to Donda. I talk about Kanye a lot in my content, so realistically it makes so much sense to do this video right now. And I'm going to be talking about what my favorite song on each Kanye West album is. And just like Kanye started with the College Dropout, we're starting with the College Dropout. This has so many classic Kanye songs on here. I feel like a lot of people like to gravitate towards songs like All Falls Down and Jesus Walks. But me personally, my favorite song on this album is Family Business. Definitely near the end of the album, but the sample on this one is incredible. Kanye's lyrics are super heartfelt in this one. He did his thing crazy on this one, talking about his early life, his family, stuff like that. I'm a big family person and just love the theme behind that song, and you just can't go wrong with it. The chorus is incredible. The vocals in the background are so perfect on this song. There's so much good stuff in the College Dropout, but if I had to get rid of everything and just have that one, it would just be Family Business. It's gotta be. Then we're going to the second album in the College Dropout trilogy in Late Registration. And this is where it gets really hard, because Late Registration is genuinely one of his most stacked albums in terms of songs. I think people like to gravitate from songs like Diamond Sierra Leone. I'll spoil it right now. We Major is my favorite, but obviously people love songs like Hey Mama, Roses, Diamonds from Sierra Leone, both versions. There's even great underrated songs like Celebration, but it's just something about We Major. I'm not even the biggest Nas fan, but the production on that beat is insane. It has such a great build-up, and just verse for verse, even though there are great features on the Late Registration, you just cannot go wrong with this one. I think Kanye is just like, he knows what to do with people like this, and there's just not many, if any, songs with Nas and Kanye in the same realm. Nas is even still in his prime. I like to think that Nas was in his prime, like really his whole career. I know people like to say he fell off after his first 5-6 years of rapping, but in 2005, even after the whole Jay-Z and Nas beef, it's so cool in the whole timeline of things to go back to this song. And this song really does sound like it could have just came out on King's Disease or Donda. That's how great this song is. Definitely the most timeless song on this album, and I had to be my favorite. For me, I prefer College Dropout and Late Registration, but Graduation is the album for a lot of people. Amazing cover art. Top to bottom, this thing has really very limited misses near the end, and definitely some of Kanye's most classic songs like I Wonder, Flashing Lights, Good Life, etc. Everybody knows how big this album was. One of the biggest songs of its time. Stronger is also on this album. But when I look into this album, the one song that really keeps with me, and I always listen to no matter what the situation is, so versatile, is Good Life with T-Pain. First off, T-Pain's influence is incredibly underrated, and this song just bangs no matter what. I feel like a lot of people tend to go with that Flashing Lights, Everything I Am type thing, but for me, those songs do have great lyrics, but it's just not as versatile, and you can't play it literally every second of your life. And Good Life has always just been a song that's been there to play at super high moments when you're with your friends doing whatever, and I just don't think you can go wrong with that song. Obviously, if you pick songs like Stronger, Flashing Lights, obviously valid, but again, this is just a song. Then, after a tragic breakup, we got the very, very influential 808s and Heartbreaks. If you did not know, I probably said it quite a few times on this podcast, but 808s is my favorite Kanye West album. And if you don't know, my favorite Kanye song of all time is Streetlights. So that is my favorite song of 808s and Heartbreaks. This album has literally zero misses. I know people love to say Graduation, The College Dropout, don't have any misses. This album, no misses at all. Welcome to Heartbreak, amazing, RoboCop, Paranoid, the list goes on, literally the entire album, and his biggest song, Heartless. That was a huge song in Kanye's timeline, one of the biggest radio hits we've seen from Kanye, and at this point, he was a huge powerhouse in the game. But Streetlights is just one of the best written songs in my opinion. The way that song sways and just sounds in your ears just sounds like you're really embodying what Kanye was doing when he wrote this song. And just the way it seemed like he was living his life right there is just a super nostalgic way of when I like to look back at my favorite life memories and stuff like that. So Streetlights has always just been that one Kanye song that stuck with me forever. I listened to it like I listened to it the first time. It has never gotten old, and Streetlights is my favorite Kanye song. Kanye's best song in my opinion, and the best off 808s. Next, we got one of the highest pinnacles anyone has had in a career, one of the most critically acclaimed great albums of the 2010s, and honestly of all time for hip hop. Obviously, I'm talking about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Is this my favorite Kanye album? Like I said, no. But I definitely appreciate the greatness of this album. Again, there's very, very, very little misses on this album. I listen to every song on this album so much. There's so many to pick from, whether you're talking about Gorgeous, Devil in a New Dress, Dark Fantasy, the intro. But like a lot of people, I feel like I have to go with Runaway. I like the storytelling of this song is just so crazy. Even like the different ways that you don't really know everything what this song is about is crazy. Kanye was so vulnerable in this song. I mean, he became more vulnerable in the future on albums like The Life of Pablo and Jesus is King. But for people that were actually super, super big into Kanye, you would know he wasn't as vulnerable in his music up until this point. Like, he was just talking about his real highs and lows and maybe struggles growing up, but it wasn't in the realm of like a Runaway, of like really portraying that how dangerous of a human he could be and just telling the people to run away from him because he feels just like so attacked and stuff like that. But you can't just, I just can't get by the meaning of this song. I love it. One of the very, very long song, but even the outro is so clean. I heard there's like some crazy conspiracy theories about like if you listen to the end of Runaway and that like distorted vocals type of end, it's supposed to mean like how people don't really understand what he's saying, even though he's always saying stuff. So I think there's type of meaning behind the outro to Runaway, which I really, really like. And I've never even really heard the vocals and what it's supposed to sound like at the end of that song. I know he's done concerts before where he has his own like freestyling vocalist type of runs at the end of Runaway, but I don't think anybody really, really knows what he's saying at the end of that song, and that's kind of the purpose of it, for a little fun fact. But My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Runaway, my second favorite Kanye song of all time, and the best on Dark Fantasy. Next up, we got one of the best Kanye albums, in my opinion. I know a lot of people tend to put Yeezus a little lower, but in terms of songs for Yeezus, it's so, so, so hard. And some of my favorite songs, including my top three, gotta be New Slaves, Black Skinhead, and Hold My Liquor. And then when you even break it down to those three, it's incredibly hard. And I didn't even put in like Bound 2 and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people would put Bound 2 at that one spot, but it's got to be Hold My Liquor. This is Kanye's at least top 5 Kanye song in my opinion. Just like even in the process of this album, like the thought of an idea to put Chief Keef and Bon Iver on the same song with an incredible chorus and just like Kanye's just in his element, like that whole I'm a god type energy is so felt on this song within the beat, and then you just put on someone like Chief Keef in his prime just to like sit on that high ass pedestal is insane. I know Yeezus is very perfect in itself, but this song just takes that whole album to another level in my opinion, and it's got to be the best. Next up, 2016, The Life of Pablo. This is many, many, many Kanye fans' favorite album, if not a top 3 Kanye album. In my opinion, it's not one of my favorite. I do love this album a lot, but I just connect with a lot of other songs. So we'll get this one out of the way. I'm sure so many people can guess it. My favorite song is Saint Pablo. Lyrically, a beautiful song. Kanye did his thing. So let's get right into the next one. We got Ye. And again, I'm sure people can guess this one. It's got to be Ghost Town. This is a top 10 Kanye song in my opinion. The Wyoming vibes, the whole, the aesthetic that this album and Kids See Ghosts give off is so visually crazy. Like when you listen to this whole album, it's insane, but Ghost Town in itself just takes that whole idea and picture that's set in your head and blows it to pieces. Like this song is like could be played, and I think it should be played in front of just like giant arenas. And I haven't really seen Kanye do this song or really perform it except for those Sunday service type things, but it'd be so cool to see him just do like a Coachella on like a real stage that's not a Sunday service and perform songs like this. But hopefully we'll see in the future. Ghost Town, my favorite, and quickly we'll do Kids See Ghosts as well. My favorite song on this album, even though it's not really, this song's more of a Cudi album, but my favorite song is Reborn, like a lot of people. The meaning to this song is incredible, just definitely a perfect song. And then we'll quickly fly into Jesus is King. This album just had so much potential with how good Yandhi was really sounding. My favorite song on this album is Use This Gospel, but even in that state, the original version of this and Law of Attraction is just better. It just is. So I always have been like kind of like torn on this album because I've heard how good Yandhi was, and even like him changing those songs into what they are on the album. I always just like the original versions better. But Use This Gospel just in itself is definitely a great song and could compete with a lot of rappers' top tier songs. But in terms of Kanye's discography, I don't think there's really any songs on this album that would even be like in his like top 30, top 50. But Use This Gospel is great. And lastly, we got the almighty Donda. We were able to see this show in concert at Chicago. And the first time he debuted this song was at that show. And it, of course, is Come to Life. First time I heard this song, it was automatically one of my favorite Kanye songs ever. The lyrics in this one, Kanye is just... There's just so much of a presence that is felt in a stadium when this song came on, and just in the speakers when you hear it in your car, headphones, whatever. Such a great, well-written song. It'd be an awesome outro to this album if it was the outro. But in general, to me, this is a top 10 Kanye song. Even though it just came out and it might sound like I'm just like putting this because it's like a recency bias type of thing. I don't think so. This is definitely my most listened to song of the year. And I don't really see it slowing down. It sounds just as good. Just like I said in songs like Streetlights and Hold My Liquor, this song just sounds so good every single time you hear it and never gets pushed out of my rotation. Come to Life, top one on Donda. Clock it in. You can see the full list of my top songs from Kanye right here from each album, and let me know if I'm tripping in the comments. If you made it to the end of the video, you're the fucking GOAT. We out here grinding videos all week. Every Wednesday we're dropping a video from the boys, so stay tuned for that. Like, comment, subscribe, and ring that bell. Ringing that bell will do so much for us, and it lets you get content as quick as possible in terms of the whole rollout process. So make sure you smash that subscribe button and definitely ring that bell for the boys. And of course, we appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.